Hello to all traders and welcome back to another market review brought to you by Orbex. So stocks on the increase as well as the S&P, the Dow and the Nasdaq having a 4-day winning streak so far, even though there is a reading that the US consumers' near-term outlook on income, business and job prospects dropped to their lowest reading in 12 years. That's quite a detrimental sign, but it didn't really stop stocks and indices from raising a little bit higher. GameStop moving over 7% in the last session. So let's just take a look on the daily chart for the S&P first of all. And like I said, from the middle of last week, we're having quite a nice bullish run at the moment, especially after this major correction in indices and stocks thanks to Donald Trump's trade war. That's continuously ongoing. I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon, but we are seeing a little bit of a reprieve, finding a bottom roughly around 5,500 for the S&P, and now seeing that price action is on the upside. Buyers attracting more buyers since we saw this vast oversold nature on the RSI. We're seeing a natural rise back into the neutral area, and in turn seeing more of a push on price action as well. Before we go intraday, I just want to show you the same kind of setup for the Dow as well. Hasn't been as progressive on the daily chart, but it is looking very, very bullish at the moment. So nearing a sort of plateau at the moment. We could see a bit of consolidation roughly around the mid 42,000 area. But if we go onto the 4-hour chart, because a lot of our traders are trading intraday, waiting for the next signal higher or lower, that is. At the moment, we're just seeing price action move a little bit sideways, having few gaps in the market, especially the weekend gap that we've seen recently, but more importantly, like I said, finding a bottom, hopefully having a V-shaped recovery, especially for buyers, so there's no prolonged sell-off. The only reason we're slightly worried at the moment is because the RSI is hitting a triple top on the overbought area, which could lead to a decline back even further to where the last big support was. So if we do drop below 42,000, possibly expect more of a run to the downside in the near term at least. So that's what we're fearing for the Dow at the moment. But if we look on the S&P as well, similar kind of story, just slightly moving off its edge here since the weekend gap. That's seen quite a big jump in prices. But like I said, we could be seeing a little bit more of a sell-off if we do get the RSI, like the Dow, into the overbought area, which would lead to a bearish divergence and possibly moving even lower. So just be careful if you're buying stocks or getting back into the buying game for the indices, because there could be a little bit of a pullback. Depending how much of a pullback that will be, we'll see if we can close this previous weekend gap and then possibly starting moving lower. But just keep an eye out for the fundamentals this week. Not too many that's going to shape the market. Not really any. We've had the CPI data, inflation data, NFP data. That's going to be coming next week actually. But this week, not too much in the way of big movers in the market. So just have a look at where the stops and limits are for yourself going in and out of the market. Excuse me, and then we'll see where the next direction is, and obviously we'll bring you all the latest in the fundamentals and technicals and the levels that we're cracking at the moment, especially for the Dow and the S&P at really good levels, to see if there's going to be a sell-off or a continuation on this bullish rhetoric that we've seen over the last few sessions. So until next time, have a great trading day ahead, and we'll speak again. Bye for now.